Gotta go. Well, it's Dr. Orloff here, May 9th, 2020, the dawning of the apocalypse, waiting for the return of the Anunnaki and the Great Awakening. But I tell you, I really hate these masks. This is actually a better mask than I see most people have. This is like a real surgeon's mask, as my wife had 2 of them, and so she gave me one. And I don't think you're supposed to reuse them every time you go out. It's starting to smell like my starting to smell a little bit. Well, it's a Saturday. When I last talked with you, I think I had just gone to Duncanville Books, which is my favorite local comic store, and picked up a bunch of stuff, half price, actually less than half price, some of it, and I was really thrilled. And then I went back and got more. And but first I went by, you know, I went by Half Price Books. It was open, I think I told you. And you know, it's like a containment. You have to, if you don't have the mask, they think you're. But anyway, Duncanville Books is cool, and I picked up at Half Price Books this issue of Movie Teen with Elvis on the cover, and late period creepy that I don't think I have, but I may have, and I may have just bought it again for no particular reason. I did find that when I started putting all the Famous Monsters of Filmland magazines that I got at Duncanville Books into a box with my other Famous Monsters, that I had already had a bunch of those issues. So I quickly made a list of all the Famous Monsters going up through the 130s, and then I scratch them out as I get them, because otherwise I'm just going to keep buying the same issues, because I've seen the covers a million times, but I didn't know if I own them or not. So let's see what I picked up at Duncanville Books. This was half price. It's a Cracked magazine from, it's number, man, my eyes are getting bad, number 86. It's probably from about 1966 or so, mid-60s. And then I got Cracked number 90. Okay, so where am I going to put these? This is kind of cool. It's something I got years ago at an estate sale, and it's for putting your roller skates in, and it's got all these stickers from all of these roller rinks, you know, and it's great. It had yeah, just a lot of great stuff. And it had some girls' roller skates in it, and all that. Kind of a neat thing. Okay. So, I'll put these here. I already had this, but, you know, this was $2. This was in the $2 bin, so I got it again. It's got a comic strip version of Captain Kronos, late 70s, and I'm feeling it now. It has waves. It has moisture damage. I didn't realize it. Well, my original copy from when I was 12, 13 doesn't have that, so I picked this up. It's not in great shape, but I've always loved this cover, this insane looking guy, and the font here, which I've reused in fanzines that I put out. I used to put out a magazine called The Sophisticate back in the 90s, and I'll tell you more about that at another time. Picked up some Harveys. I love purple covers, and I love Harvey. And like Captain Strangelove, this is one of the things that you know, got me into reading. Okay, so those are, this is all $2. Those are, everything I've shown you is a $2 deal. It's except for that stuff from that Elvis magazine was more than $2. That was from another store. Okay, so 70s Superboy and the Legion of Superheroes. Number 160 of Superboy. Again, these are all $2. Now whenever I see Not Brandeck, I pick it up, and I have probably 6 copies of this issue, but I just love it so much, and I love Marie Severin's art, and it just, I mean, it's just something that's influenced me since I was a kid, and reprints of 50s monster stuff. You know, speaking of pandemics, I was just reading, you know, obviously everyone knows about the 1918 Spanish flu. My great uncle, who had fought in World War I, died of that and is buried in France. Everyone knows about that. That killed, I don't know, 50 million people worldwide. But I was just reading there was a pandemic in 1968 that killed, I think I saw that it killed 100 million people worldwide, and oh man, I could be wrong. Maybe it was 10 million, but you could look it up. It's called the Hong Kong flu. It was from 1968. It started in April of '68 and didn't really go away until about 1970. I've never heard of that. And there was apparently a pandemic in 1957 too, but this one in 1968. I mean, if it started in April of '68 in China and spread all over the world, and they said it mainly was killing people over 65. I mean, my family and I went out to the Hemisphere, which was the big World's Fair in San Antonio, a bunch of times. We were living in San Antonio. That's where I was born. And Woodstock happened during that time period too. And I didn't see anyone there wearing masks. Actually, they weren't wearing much of anything. But Millie the Model, $2 during the period where it kind of morphed into an exact Archie clone for $2. This is all, like I said, from the $2 bin, and I just couldn't resist it. And Metal Men, I mean, it's not in perfect shape. Metal Men 26. And then I got a bunch of Marvel reprint titles from the 70s that are just fun to read. I don't know if they have much value. They may at some point. Doubtful. Marvel Triple Action that reprinted the Avengers, but you know, it's early Bronze Age, 20 cent. And I just, you know, just picked up to read. These are comics that I don't have, and I think I already have this. I got it anyway, just because I wanted it again. Just, this is Marvel's Greatest Comics that reprinted Fantastic Four, and reprinting the Hulk versus the Thing, and I think I already have that issue. I just picked up a bunch of them that, because they were $2, and you know, Dennis the Menace. I love Dennis the Menace. It was something forbidden to me when I was a little kid, because Dennis the Menace didn't speak with perfect grammar, and my mom thought I would pick up bad grammar if I was learning to reading Dennis the Menace, so she didn't want me picking up those comics. But after 2nd grade, I pretty much was allowed to get them, but because they were forbidden for a while, you know, they became all the more attractive. And just like she forbid me to watch the Three Stooges, she didn't want me watching that. She was afraid I would imitate their actions, so it just made me love the Three Stooges more. Same thing with monster movies. You know, monster magazines. She would. She really didn't want me getting those when I was real young either. Conan the Barbarian, 29. And then, okay, move this. Let's see, what else did I get? Also from that bin, Conan 33. Adventure into Fear. I'm pretty sure I don't have this issue. I picked up a lot of things, I was really into Marvel Monsters and in the early 70s, and the first Spider-Man comic I got, I thought about this the other day, from 7-Eleven, was a Marvel team-up where Werewolf by Night fought against, or teamed up with, Spider-Man, and I was buying it for the werewolf, and then a few years later, I realized how great Spider-Man is, and the Fantastic Four. So, oh, I was going to tell you that I think I told you before, I have the first appearance of the Wolverine because my mom bought it for me because I was homesick with, you know, I don't know, the cold, the flu or something. So she brought me, she'd always buy 2 or 3 comics so I could read them. And she just happened to buy the first appearance of the Wolverine and the Hulk. But I remember now she also bought the first Man Thing #1, not the first appearance. But so those are 2 key issues that I have because of her. I'm not really into the whole key issue thing. People that, you know, I just buy what I like, and you know, I kind of wish if I won the lottery, I would buy up comics that were slabbed, and I would crack them out of the slabs and do it on YouTube just to horrify people and hear their weeping and wailing. Now, Little Pals is it's reprints of old 50s funny animal comics from Marvel, and I had the first couple of issues that I picked up when we lived in Hampton, Virginia, down the street at a 7-Eleven, and I didn't have that issue, so I picked it up. Let's see, that's all, again, all from the $2 bin. Man-Thing #6. And more Marvel Collector's Item Classics. Just $2 to me is a great deal. So even though I have a lot of these issues, in fact, I have this, you know, I have this original issue of the Fantastic Four, but you know, it's still fun to have. Oh, and I got a whole bunch of Marvel double features that reprint the Tales of Suspense, Captain America, Iron Man. Just, you know, I don't think I'd ever seen this particular issue. It's just reprints, but it was just a couple of bucks, and then I got a discount on top of that. I think just for quantity of buying a bunch of stuff, and you know, just because they're cool people at Duncanville Books in Duncanville, Texas. Well, it's a beautiful spring day outside, and we had some bad hail the other day, so wound up getting damage to my car and to the roof, but I've got insurance working on that, and you don't want to hear about that. A lot of these Marvel double features, you just don't really see them that often, at least I don't. It's a nice cover. I guess that's a new Kirby cover done for this reprinting. All right, I think that might be the end of the $2 bin. Okay, so I went back to the half price section, and I got this Famous Monsters of Filmland for half price. And this was, you know, I made that list, and it turned out I did not have this issue. It's number 94 from November of 1972. So that would have been, I think we were still living in Germany when this came out. It seems like I remember seeing this on the stands. And 97 from April of 73. And I was still living in Germany. I remember seeing this at the Base Exchange on the stands. But I wasn't allowed to get it, because what I'd have to do is I'd bring the magazine up to my mom and say, can I get this? And she'd flip through it, and she'd usually say no. Sometimes she'd approve, like Monsters Unleashed #2, that met her approval. But, you know, she flipped through it, and she saw any danger, any damage to an eye. I think I told you that. It was no-go, because that was one of her pet peeves. Okay, and then, of course, you know about these magazines. Hurry Publications. I got this. This is a giant size issue. Got that for $7. It was half price. Famous Monsters 67. It's really a great cover. And number 81. Another great cover. But this is one of the all-time great covers. Number 99. And I've got to remember on this list that Monster World was counted into the... Monster World was another monster magazine in the mid-60s that Warren Publications put out. And in order to get up to issue 100 quicker, retroactively they counted Monster World as certain numbers of famous monsters. And looking at the gap here, it's probably somewhere in the 70s or the 40s. I could research. I could look on. I could find out immediately. But I'm just talking. I don't know exactly where, but Monster World is also part of that. Okay, and issue 99, the Famous Monsters, and I think that ends the haul. You guys know to hit Dollar Tree, these are $1 there. I picked up a stash. Yeah, they may all be gone by now, but they had a whole bunch of them. Okay, there's some more stuff I need to tell you. I'll come back in another video and tell you that. Take care. Bye.